Welcome back to the David Pakman Show.
Okay, to clear something up from yesterday's bonus show.
Please.
The governor of Oregon, until very recently, was John Kitziber, and it was his fiancée who once got married for $5,000 to an Ethiopian teen. The new governor of Oregon is Kate Brown, who is not getting married to a woman who got married for $5,000. So it was the previous governor. Just clearing that up.
Thank you.
So here we have more stuff that is going to be harmful for Hillary. It's the email scandal. It's back. There has been some information that has come out that hackers based in Russia sent at least 5 emails to Hillary, this being, of course, her private email account, not her Secretary of State email account, with emails containing malware that, if activated or downloaded, would have given the hackers access to her computer. And phishing, of course, is the correct term here. And the emails were disguised as speeding tickets. They would have enabled the hackers to control her computer. The infected computer would have sent information to at least 3 other computers overseas, including one in Russia.
Now, simple question, Lewis. Does Hillary Clinton ever drive? In other words, would she not be aware? I don't know the answer, but I would assume if she does, it's not very much. So it seems to me it would be hard to trick someone who barely drives into thinking maybe they had speeding tickets.
Yeah, maybe not the best call. And maybe she was aware that you shouldn't just open random attachments to emails that look suspicious. But whatever the case, she didn't. And but I don't think that's going to matter, right? That these emails even got through to her, I think, is going to be enough ammunition for Republicans to go nuts, right?
You think, though? I mean, everybody gets spam.
Well, perhaps not on these, secure email servers that are government issued. I mean, I think the idea is that those are filtered out somehow, or who knows. But anyway, that's what's going on with the email scandal now. And I'm sure we'll hear more about it.
Yeah.
But whatever. It was pretty dumb of her to do, but
it was stupid. But I think that
it's not like I think she's treasonous.
Exactly. The idea that we shouldn't elect her president because she did something that Colin Powell also did, although admittedly in a slightly different and a little bit dumber way. How is this worse than any of the stupid things that any candidate did at some point? I don't know. I truly don't get it.
I don't think it even occurred to her what she was doing at the time.
Yeah.
She probably had no clue. Here's a story from Toronto. An animal rights group did this protest. They basically stormed into a steakhouse in Toronto. And, well, what did they do? They held up signs and they started chanting stuff. They start by the whole thing. They recorded the whole thing, by the way. They start with going to the front desk, looking at the menu and asking why there's no dog on the menu. And then they just flood the dining room and they start chanting and holding signs. Eventually, police show up. They're asked to leave, and it's quite a scene. The signs they were holding up said, "It's not meat, it's violence," or something along those lines. And their whole message is that animals are being mistreated, and it's just really bad because animals have feelings. So while this is a successful attempt, right? The video went viral. I'm talking about it. There are articles about it all over the place. Their demonstration was successful, but did they successfully convince people in the steakhouse who were booing them that eating meat is wrong? I think this is the wrong way to go about convincing people not to eat meat, because if people don't care that people are being treated like crap and being killed and, there's violence among people, why would they care about violence among animals?
I don't know that that argument resonates with everybody, because there are many people who say that the reason they care more about animals than people is that people are complicit in creating the conflict that often leads to death. Not necessarily every individual person, but that people as a species, war and battle and whatever, and that animals are just sort of innocent bystanders that just exist on this planet, and humans are killing them and eating them. And as you know, Lewis, I've talked about this before. Of the meats that I eat, mammals are the ones that I am most questioning, right? So certainly cow is beef, if I were to remove something from my diet, the next thing would be cow. And I've been driving by in different spots, farms where you have cows hanging out, and cows generally they do seem pretty nice. They seem to be certainly the closest thing to a dog that is on the list of animals that I eat, right? I mean, a cow is much closer to a dog than a shrimp or salmon or a chicken. So there's no question about that. But I agree with you that this type of, I'm already someone who's kind of like, do I really want to be eating mammals? I don't know. And then obviously, this is aside from the environmental impact. But when I hear about this protest, this does not, and I'm already someone who's sort of like sympathetic in some way to the message. It doesn't convince me, that's for sure.
Yeah, what has convinced me more than anything that I should stop eating meat, not that I have. I mean, I've certainly cut down. I don't eat much red meat anymore. I'm much better than I used to be.
Yeah.
But was first of all the disgusting conditions of slaughterhouses and what animals are fed, the conditions they go through, the slaughterhouses, what happens to meat in supermarkets, and all around, it's just pretty disgusting. And so the product is just a crappy product. But on top of that, the carbon footprint of factory farming animals, massive, and we know about the problems with that. And that, to me, those two, I think you'd have a much easier time convincing people, especially just how disgusting the slaughterhouses and the meat really are. That is how you convince people not to eat it, right?
Yeah, and coincidentally, it's for the most part let me not say that. Many states have passed laws making it illegal to film, even from public roads, what is going on at some of these big factory farms and slaughterhouses.
Yeah. And some of that is successful lobbying. And at the same time, I'm sure some of it is the owners of these massive farms, factories, if you will, going up to politicians and saying, look, if this happens and we have to shut down, I mean, it's going to end meat distribution for X percent of the country. I mean, that's how big we're really talking here. That's the scale of things.
Yeah.
I mean, if something like two of those major chicken distributors were to go down for some reason, I mean, there would be a chicken shortage in the United States.
Sure.
So I think in some way those ag gags are to protect the food infrastructure of this country. Maybe there's just no way around that, but the way to handle it is for people to stop eating meat. Okay, Tom Brady has backed off of the Trump endorsement. I think it became clear after he threw out this quasi endorsement of Trump that it was not in the it just didn't look good, and people went crazy. I went crazy. He backed off a little bit. He said,
so Lewis, I think we should sort of reset the story. We're talking about Tom Brady, the quarterback for the New England Patriots.
Everybody knows who Tom Brady is.
What happened was a Donald Trump Make America Great Again hat was spotted in Tom Brady's locker room. Tom Brady was asked about it. He said, well, Trump sent me the thing, but I like Trump. I'd consider voting for Trump. Trump's a friend of mine. And now he's backing off.
Yeah. He said Trump presidency would be great. There'd be a putting green on the White House lawn. Okay, they're golf buddies, whatever. But Brady said his comment was overanalyzed. He said, I understand why you people run with it. You get the clicks and that type of stuff. It's just people doing their job. A comment like that, I try to have fun with certain things. He went on to say, when you're speaking publicly, you have a lot of people listening, and I think it's probably in everyone's best interest in today's day and age to say as little as possible. That is 100% true.
But did he actually say, I'm not thrilled with the idea of Trump for president?
I'm going to continue. Well, see, we don't have the option of saying as little as possible, Dave, do we?
No.
But in his case, I think that would be wise. And he went on to say, one way or another, it's so far away from when the election will be. Whatever I vote, it is going to be my own personal choice based on how I feel. I don't even know what the issues are. I haven't paid attention to politics in a long time. It's actually not something that I really even enjoy. It's way off my radar. And he said, I mean, look, I've known him for a long time, talking about Trump. He's been a fun guy that I've had, I've spent a lot of time around. So he has backed off of the endorsement.
I guess, yeah. I mean, he's basically just saying, I know nothing about politics, and I probably wouldn't even vote. So it's not exactly a ringing endorsement for Tom Brady's points of view, but at least saying ignorance over lack of knowledge over support of Trump is what he's going with for now.
Well, you know what? I think it's really hard for people to admit that they don't have an understanding of what the issues are and what's happening right now.
Yeah.
And can you imagine that if people were actually honest about that and decided not to vote over that instead of deluding themselves into thinking they understand all the issues and voting for Santorum, I think we'd be in a much better place.
Yeah, listen, he's saying he knows a lot more about goal line audible calls than he does about politics, and that's fine. He's admitting it.
Hey, you know what? I don't want Tom Brady to ever focus on politics. Tom, don't ever do it. Don't ever look into the issues. Just focus on winning another ring, buddy. And that's the priority.
Yeah.
One more quick story on Operation Moonspike, or perhaps it's just called Moonspike. But a group of independent rocket engineers want to send a crowd-funded rocket to the moon that will deliver a payload of 1 gram that will be shaped like a spike. It will hit the lunar surface. It will contain information from funders and from who knows who else. But it seems like the point of this whole thing is just to prove that it's possible to crowdfund a rocket that will drop something on the moon. They are trying to raise $1 million in 30 days. Of course, this is just preliminary. It's going to cost multiple millions of dollars. But they believe that if they get this initial funding, they might be able to get that from private donors down the road. I think it's cool if this happens. That's fine. But it kind of seems like a waste, doesn't it? A waste of millions of dollars.
We know we can do this. It's just that we don't necessarily have that great of a reason. Unless you're a conspiracy theorist about the moon landing, I don't know that there's too many people who think this is not possible. Obviously, it's possible.
Well, hey, Dave, as far as the conspiracy theorists go, it's super easy to send something to the moon, but sending a manned craft to the moon and then having it come back to Earth is a little different, right?
Yeah.
But I just don't get what you are proving here, because we know we can get things to the moon. And it doesn't seem like you were going to be discovering or achieving anything that hasn't been done before. Just to say that you have a crowd-funded rocket launch to wherever, I just don't care. This isn't interesting. You're not going to break ground here.
Yeah, I think everything Elon Musk is doing with SpaceX dwarfs this in every single way.
Yeah. Now, of course, there is corroboration there with NASA and with other organizations. And so
corroboration or collaboration?
Both, right?
Well, I think it's just collaboration. What have they corroborated?
Yeah. Well, yeah, I guess you can corroborate your ideas. And,
right.
Right. But collaboration, cooperation.
Certainly.
Is all-encompassing.
We want clarity this evening.
Yeah. But this would be a completely independent venture, and I just, it bores me. I don't know. Tell me if I'm wrong. Tell me why this is important. It doesn't seem like it will even truly be a purely crowdfunded thing if they are seeking to collect millions more dollars after this Kickstarter from, rich people? Maybe even some organizations. And then, how independent is it really? But whatever. I mean, also, you're just delivering a payload of 1 gram to the moon's surface, and it will probably never be touched again in the history of the universe.
I mean, you'd think maybe it would make more sense to at least bring some kind of thumb drive with some kind of key information where if the Earth exploded, I mean, obviously, if the Earth exploded, it would probably spell doom for the moon as well. But if for whatever reason, some kind of backup whatever, right? That might be more useful in some way.
Well, they will have information. As soon as the sun goes supernova, it's all bye-bye anyway.
Yeah, got a billion years though, right?
Maybe. Our son is not young, Dave. It's up there in age, relatively speaking. It's pretty old.
Yeah.
And so, yes, could we have another 1 billion years? Yeah, but
Party's got to end sometime, right? Is what you're
the
saying?
party's going to end. Yeah. And this tiny little spike that's like this big. I just don't like it. I don't care. Anyway, I'm talking about it. I'm talking to you about it because I don't care about it. That's kind of weird.
The David Pakman Show at davidpakman.com.